Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Bodacity show for this week. So happy to see you. So happy you're here during the holidays. I know that you've got a million things going on, and thank you, Jill, for being here. I know you're really busy doing back-to-back interviews today, etc. I'm really happy to see you, my friend. How are you?
I am doing great, and it's a delight to see you too.
Awesome. Happy to have you here. And I'm going to read your formal bio and intro so people get to know you. But then I want to hear the juicy bits. We want to know something about you that we wouldn't find on your website. Let me tell you guys about Jill and why I really wanted to bring her here as a great way to wrap up our year and get you thinking about how to be more successful in 2020 together, which is what I'm calling next year. Jill Lublin is an international speaker on the topics of radical influence, publicity, networking, kindness, and referrals. She is the author of 4 best-selling books, including Get Noticed, Get Referrals by McGraw-Hill, and co-author of Guerrilla Publicity and Networking Magic. Her latest book, Profit of Kindness, that's P-R-O-F-I-T, of Kindness, went #1 in 4 categories. Jill is a master strategist on how to position your business for more profitability and more visibility in the marketplace. She's the CEO of a strategic consulting firm and has over 25 years of experience working with over 100,000 people plus national and international media. Jill teaches a virtual publicity crash course and consults and speaks all over the world. She's spoken on many stages with luminaries such as Tony Robbins. She also helps authors to create book deals with major publishers and agents, as well as obtain foreign rights deals. I'll put the contact information where you can find out more about Jill. That is an impressive history of helping people get seen and heard. Jill, congratulations. I've known you for a long time, like at least 15 years or something like that. And you have been, in fact, I think I saw you speak at CAPS, the Canadian Association of Professional Speakers, even before that. It's been a long time that I've seen you and seen you doing your work, and you've been passionately committed to getting people publicity. Why? Where did that come from? And then I'm going to come back to the juicy bits, okay?
Absolutely. First of all, yeah, I picked a lane and I stayed in it because the truth is that is my talent and gift, which is publicizing and promoting and helping others spread their message across the land, as I like to say. And for me, it's a delight to really support others to create that visibility. It was just a natural thing. It started in the music business and just kept going. And I think for me, at least, I found something that I love to do, that I'm good at doing, and away we went. Really, it's just been like that. And I've been grateful for the opportunity.
Okay, now tell us something we wouldn't guess about you normally or that we wouldn't find on your website, because we like, in Bodacity, we like the juicy bits.
Absolutely. I have a strong belief in spirituality, and I also stay connected to that for myself, and then I'm helping others. I like to call spread their light, and I am a messenger of messengers. And so with that comes responsibility to help others get their message out, but also for me to stay centered and grounded in who I am and my message of kindness now to the world. And so that's something juicy that maybe some people don't know, besides the fact that I ran away from home when I was like 35 and actually went and lived in Bolivia in a community. And most people don't know that either, but that was a lot of fun.
That is interesting, and that is something that I didn't know about you. How did you end up living in Bolivia? I don't want to get too sidetracked, but I am curious now about that.
I was going to write a book called Mystic Messages. And so there was a messenger living in the hills of Bolivia, literally. And I went and tracked him down. And I tracked down quite a few other people too throughout Venezuela and Central America and South America, and then ended up in Europe. And next thing I know, somehow back in San Francisco 2 years later, literally. So it was a wonderful journey. Bolivia was probably the longest place I stayed. And it was a wonderful community of mostly South Americans and some Central Americans.
Beautiful.
Speaking Spanish. I did learn how to speak Spanish from that. I'm pretty good, but a little rusty now.
I didn't know that about you, and we have lots in common around that. Or if I did know, I forgot, because I've been all through Central and South America, including Bolivia, and lots of places that we've probably visited. To the same places. We need to get together for some wine.
On another talk.
Exactly. All right. Let's talk about publicity, because it's clearly a passion of yours. And Why does publicity, so I have a bunch of questions, but I'll start with one at a time. Why does publicity matter nowadays when people are so busy getting seen and heard on social media and they think that is the end all be all?
Well, first of all, let me just tell you, social media is not the end all be all. It blips across the screen, it goes very fast. What's super great about publicity is that number one, it's going to guarantee you credibility. Social media doesn't. It's going to guarantee you leads, prospects, and referrals. Social media might, but certainly not the way publicity does. Because here's the thing, trust factor is powerful. The ongoing credibility, the fact that it's a third party authorization of you, really, because all of a sudden you're on podcasts or you're in print or you're on TV or on radio or wherever, right? The point is be wherever you can, because the power of publicity is going to multiply you and magnetize you and monetize you. And so how much better can that be?
Exactly. I love those three M's, to multiply, magnetize, and monetize. Those are three very good M's. Tell me a little bit about one of the things that I do is work with a lot of people who are not doing the right things at the right stage of their business. They're trying to do things like the gurus on the top of the mountain who have a lot of infrastructure and a lot of support and a lot of team and tech and so forth and list and influence, and they can't because they don't have all of that, and so they're not successful in doing some of the leverage things that those people are selling and advocating. I'm a big believer in people doing the right thing at the right stage. When is the right stage for people to do publicity?
I'm glad you asked, because literally today I was on the phone with a woman. She's got a book coming out, 7 months from now. Here's the thing about publicity. You got to think like a garden, right? You plant a garden and you plant seeds so that they grow in good time. They don't just sprout overnight. We wish they did. And that goes with publicity. Here's what I recommend is you start publicity from the moment anything is a twinkle in your eye, or certainly not when you need it. Is really, in other words, publicity should be part of your overall marketing strategy. Literally, if you're in business, if you're a consultant, if you're a one-person business, doing small things in publicity, what I like to call visibility building activities, will actually be very helpful for garnering large steps. And part of that is doing consistent and persistent actions. It's not like you have to get in the New York Times every day or anything else. Good Morning America, the big shows. Honestly, if you're doing small steps along the way, it's going to make a big difference. So my answer is now. You start doing publicity now. This is not a wait thing. This is not a everything has to be perfect when, or all of that.
Okay. So it's not that you have to be big and famous to be able to warrant or deserve publicity, because I know that one of the beliefs that a lot of people have is that they have to be a brand name, they have to be well known, they have to be famous, they have to have something really unique to say, they have to have huge amounts of expertise, all sorts of different beliefs around that. Let's talk about what kinds of things, or how should people be thinking about what kinds of things they could be getting publicity on?
Yeah, and great questions. Here's the thing, and yes, you do not have to be any of those things to get publicity, because the truth is the media needs experts like you all the time. As we're looking at end of the year, start of the year, anything around goals, having a new great year, making more money, saving more money, health. All of these things are good publicity topics. Like, I want you to think seasonally, right? And that also could mean month to month in some cases, like the divorce coach I worked with, who we did a February Valentine's Day story for how to fall out of love for Valentine's Day. Something contrary is also fun. Don't get stuck in a has to be for X, Y, Z. It could be for something unique. I call this use everything you've got. A gentleman I work with, he's a business consultant. And I said, you have a kid? He goes, yeah, he's 4 years old. I said, do you make a good hot dog? Did you know that there is National Hot Dog Day? You know, what I want you to do is get creative, seriously, with all the things that you are: mother, father, sister, brother, cancer survivor. Maybe there's some things that you could be talking about that aren't even related to your business, but very interestingly will be the very thing that actually drives business right to you. That's what I want people to focus on.
That's a really good and interesting point, because I think even though I've been in this game a long time in terms of marketing for 40 years, I wouldn't necessarily think that doing some publicity around making a good hot dog would drive traffic for a a legal business or any other kind of business. How does that work? How does getting publicity of any kind help you with your business?
Because what it is, it's name recognition, and it creates what I like to call the I've heard of you somewhere syndrome. What's super cool is if you get featured for National Hot Dog Day because you're the parent of a, in this case, 4-year-old, what's happening is you're driving people through your free gift, through your marketing, through your name recognition into your website, where they will then see all the great things that you are doing. And I have seen this work for the last 25 years, no kidding, no exceptions, which is why I'm so strong about this and why I feel so passionately about this, because I see it work and it's something that most people miss. The other thing, using everything you've got, is your ethnicity, your religion, being a woman. Jeanette, you could do International Women's Day on March 8th, talking about marketing and business as a woman. That would be a good strategy. And I just think for everybody, if you think about some alternative ways to start putting your name out there, great things will happen. And that's called Use Everything You've Got. I remember when Guerrilla Publicity came out, second edition, this is my third edition already, super excited. But with the second edition, we did some book signings in Detroit, Michigan, where I'm actually from. And first thing I did was send out things to the Detroit News and the Free Press and all kinds of other places. It's like local girl makes good story, because I'm not living there anymore, but still I'm there. I'm doing book signings. I've got a new book out. You want to keep promoting different things. And guess what? I made one of the major newspapers because they bid at the story. It's that old thing, if you don't try or don't ask. Particularly ethnicities, it's super interesting. Some people forget. I had a gentleman recently in my virtual publicity course, and he's Pakistani. And we were talking deeply about use everything you've got. And I saw this, headbang in the Zoom room. And I said, what? He said, I just never thought about using the fact that I'm Pakistani. He looked up newsletters. There were 5 of them in the LA area of where he actually lived. He got in 3 of them, increasing his web visits and his whole email list by 20,000 people. Wow. Because of 3 newsletters that he reached into that reached the Pakistani community generally. Now, of course, they're not all going to become his clients. We don't expect that. But imagine this, if you were to be able to increase the number of people you reach by 20,000 people using everything you've got. So that is what I want to inspire people with today. It's look deeper. What can you be using? Being a woman, being a man, being a Christian, being a certain ethnic, being whatever. Just use it, my friends, because it's going to help. I promise.
I love that. And someone said in the chat here that it was Shelley. Thank you for being here, Shelley. I've not done a good job of getting publicity for the awards, like the one in photography, Canada and worldwide, that she has received. That brings up another issue that a lot of people have. What I think stops a lot of people, and especially a lot of women, is this notion of we're not supposed to brag. So we don't think about doing publicity about things we've done or accomplished or awards we've received, etc. So what do you tell people about how to think about that?
Okay, I'm so glad you asked. Thanks, Shelley. So a couple things. One is, I'll just tell you, receiving an award, not a big enough story. Now, here, I do have a wonderful strategy for you that's going to actually work. And I call it the announcement strategy, because when you win an award or you're elected to a nonprofit or something, you even hire a new person, whatever, it's all good. And here's the thing. In your local papers, wherever you live, there is usually a section. It's called People or People in the News. It's in your daily paper, and it's usually in your business journal. Again, wherever you live around the world, I see it in pretty much it's pretty standard. What you want to do is serve up an announcement that you've recently won an award for, in your case, Shelley, photographic award. And then underneath that, like it's a 1 sentence, then put your bio. And you send that into those wonderful places locally, but also where you graduated university. And also every Facebook group you're a part of, post it there, let's just say. Every membership organization that you're a part of, send it into their news. Find other places I actually have, and every one of my clients also has what I call an announcement media list. They should be 5, 6, maybe 7 places, plus your private Facebook groups or anything else you're a member of that has more private access, LinkedIn private groups, whatever it is, right? Go play there too and post that announcement and do this every 60 days. That's 6 times a year. It's a wonderful strategy that will get you noticed and gets that, what I like to call persistency and consistency out in the marketplace. That's not a big news story, true. But what it is an opportunity to brag in a good and positive way. And by the way, can I just say, if you're not willing to raise your flag and tell people how fabulous you are, and I don't mean from an egoic way, okay? Let's just be clear about that. From a drive business to you because you're gifted at what you do way. And so that's a different place to stand, my friends. I'll just tell you that. And that announcement strategy is a really good way to get that done simply and easily, and it doesn't cost anything. And it's not a PR story, but it's a really good strategy that gets you out there and creates the "I've heard of you somewhere" syndrome.
I love that. Okay, and just to clarify that, there's so many questions I have, but we're almost out of time. Just to clarify that, you said every 60 days you send out the same announcement about the same different announcements every 60 days. Okay.
For one, and make it something new. Like I did my World Kindness Summit in November. That was one announcement.
Yeah.
Next one will be about something else. Shelley, you send it out about the photographic award. Jeanette, you can send it out about you did your 110th episode of your wonderful podcast, whatever it is, right? Yeah. You make up a very specific announcement, put it over your bio, send that out, and change it in 60 days.
Love it. Awesome. Okay, thank you. And I know that there's so many more tips that you could provide. I just put the free gift that you gave for the Publicity Crash Course free gift. Tell us a little bit about that and what people will get when they go download that.
Sure. So it's publicitycrashcourse.com/free gift, and please go there because what I've created for you is a wonderful audio that's complete with lots more publicity pieces. If you like this, just wait. We're going to give you even more and lots of good fill in the blanks, actionable ideas that you can use immediately. And in the free gift is an invitation. So wait for it seriously to get an invitation to the free publicity masterclass, interactive and live with me, my friends, because I like live, just saying. Please sign up for that. No cost on any of it, and we'll get you great and more practical and actionable publicity ideas.
I love that. That's very generous. Thank you. And there's people saying thank you so much in the chat. And I know you've got a virtual publicity crash course coming up that is a one-day course, I believe, coming up really soon. For those of you who are thinking, okay, I don't really know where to start, I don't really know what to do, I want to get myself out there and connected and seen more this year, tell them a little bit about that, and I'm going to put the link for that and tell them about the special pricing too.
Absolutely. So listen, when the pandemic hit and everything happened, I created an interactive, get it done. We roll up our sleeves and you actually leave with 3 documents done virtual publicity course. It is live with me. It's 3 documents done and templates that you can use for any project you're working with. No kidding. So I'm going to spill all the secrets and actually tell you how to get that publicity that you deserve. I know Jeanette is actually putting it in the link, and that's publicitycrashcourse.com. Then use the code Stay Visible. That's all lowercase, Stay Visible, and you will get the immediate, I'm calling it pandemic recovery pricing of only $197. Super great on that. Lots of great savings to you. This course used to be over $1,000, now only $197 with the special code Stay Visible, all lowercase.
Love that. And when is that coming up? Do you have dates set for that?
We do, but they'll keep going. So you just pick a date that works for you.
Love it. Awesome. Okay, so thank you so much for all of that. That's great. I know you do have to leave, but I want you to just very quickly tell us about the Profit of Kindness, because I know you're doing a lot of work with spreading kindness, and I think that's a great note for us to end on, to let people know about your kindness circles and what's up with that. And
thank you.
So tell us.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Super excited. But the Profit of Kindness, I had this seed planted in my heart to do kindness circles, and literally every month we come together and we create kindness for each other, with each other in business. I often have an amazing thought leader who speaks to something about kindness and how to be more kind in business. People you've heard of, like John Asseroff and Marcy Shimoff, and some really big names. Just been delighted. Plus, we get to spread kindness every single month, and we meet for an hour on Zoom. It's super great. And I don't know if you want to put the link, but it is jilllublin.com/year of kindness. Literally, come with me. Let's keep this kindness journey going. And here's what I really want to recommend to all of you, that instead of practicing random acts of kindness, could we please practice conscious acts of kindness? Literally one every day. Imagine this. If you were to do one conscious act of kindness every day, how you and your life would change, and how others' lives would be affected and impacted because of it. That's my challenge to all of you. One super conscious act of kindness every single day.
I love that. And that's such a great attention, place to put our attention. And I have put the link for you to go and register for those kindness circles. And they're extraordinarily affordable. It's a great way to stay conscious around your intention for connecting with people in a very positive and proactive way. And Lord knows we all need that focus, that kindness put back in the world when we've gone through a lot of division and us versus them. I think it's a very valuable effort that you're putting out there in the world. And any last message you'd like to leave everyone with before we wrap up, Jill?
Okay, here, how about this one? You matter, and your message matters, and it's time to get it out there. So let's go, my friends. Let's go. One foot in front of the other, baby steps. It's all good because your message matters.
Love that. Thank you so much, Jill, for being here. I hope you had a blessed Christmas and that you have a great New Year's. And for all of you who are watching now or in the future, I really want to encourage you to make 2022 the year that we call it 2020 Together, where we co-create, where we collaborate, where we connect more, because we have been far too disconnected for far too long. So it's time to come back together, to practice some conscious kindness, and to make this 2020 together. Wish you all well and a blessed and happy New Year and a bodacious 2022. Thanks for being here, Jill. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.